Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing Epson's brand new TW8400 4K 3-chip LCD projector. This is an astonishing projector. It's quiet, yet pretty bright. It's got an amazing contrast ratio, something like 1,000,000 to 1, wherever that goes. It meets 100% of the DCI calibration something. It basically means that you can rely on this to provide an accurate colour spectrum, and it's going to do a very, very good job. Okay, now this Epson has released in the last few months a couple of models. The 7100, please watch that unboxing video, and this 8400. The 8400 replaces the 83 in a logical transition in quality. It's one of these larger projectors, as you can see from the box. It's a natural progression as they start to undertake better implementation of 4K and all of those types of things. So, without further ado, let's have a look. So, packaging, big box. This is a big projector. Okay, not the biggest in the world. If you want to see something gobsmackingly huge, go and have a look at the unboxing channel of unboxing of the Epson EH10500. It's huge. This, however, is one of the biggest that you might put residentially without having to think too much about it. It's got model and serial number information on one end and a nice handy little sticker that you could remove and put in a manual or something like that. It's got basic scan of model and serial number information, a basic pictorial of what we expect to see inside, some basic compliance and warnings, and then another pictorial. So the box is relatively muted. The top, other than the fact that it's got some courier information, is relatively boring. Getting into these is really, really easy. It's a simple enough open. The packaging in these more expensive and better projectors is better. I mean, you'll see, we've got firstly an accessory pack, and there's even an arrow in the cardboard showing which way it should be going in the box. In the pack, in the accessory pack, there's not a lot. It's almost a filler to ensure that there's a little bit of space for perhaps international options. What we have is a very long, good quality IEC power cord. It's earthed. We have a plastic clip that enables the IEC plug in the back of the projector to be firmly seated and sort of zip-tied in place very elegantly to stop that from ever falling out. Quite useful if it's in an environment, perhaps a projector lift, where there may be some tension on the power cable, or an environment where you don't want the projector to suddenly lose power. A little bit of cardboard filler, and the remote control. Now the remote control has a couple of AA batteries, and this is the same remote that comes with the TW7100 that I've just done the unboxing video of. And there we go. Now from there, there's a little piece of cardboard. Now this is simply to protect the top of the projector should you get a little bit heavy-handed when you're opening it with a craft knife. There is a basic user manual. Look, that's a quick setup guide. There's not much information here. It's actually on a CD-ROM. And one of the advantages of a CD-ROM is should there be changes or software updates or something like that, they can update it via a website and give you the key via the CD-ROM. Now this is uprated polystyrene. It's sort of almost a step towards closed-cell foam. There's two pieces, and it moulds perfectly to the shape of the projector. At this point, there's actually a cardboard sleeve enabling you to lift the projector out quite easily. So I'll just do that for a second. There's the packaging, and again you can see how beautifully moulded it is to the shape of the projector, ensuring that the it's as supported as it can be for transit. Now, looking at the projector, the first thing is that sort of cardboard carry handle. Getting that off is relatively straightforward. The simple nick at the rear, and then it sort of unfolds. Already you're getting a sense of scale of this projector. It's heavy, it's big, and like all of them, it's protected with that sort of bubble paper. There's obvious yellow tape to show what where you might need to trim or unstick, and then you can easily peel that paper away. So, firstly, look at its scale. It's a big projector. One of the first things you see when tipping it forward is these massive vents. One of them is air in and one of them is air out. I would guess it's this one because there's a little clip. There we go. And in behind it is the main filter. It's a good idea to vacuum that out every now and again, and as a part it's not expensive should you choose to replace it. In from that obviously is the massive lens. Now this has a motor driven lens cover. So this will open and close. Actually hang around, I'm going to take a video of this thing moving, it's kind of cool. And then the main exhaust. Because of its physical size, its design is to have straight optics. The light engine sits at the rear, through the LCD panels in and out in a straight line. That means of course the depth is large, and it also means from a topography perspective you end up with the video engine and the noisy things like power supplies and other things operating lamps are traditionally off to one side. The end result is a circuit topography that is free of noise, and with that a better picture. But you end up with a big box. Net result of a big box is that you can move a lot of air very easily, like a big radiator in a car. You can choose to move less air, and of course with that you can run this quieter. And in a home theatre environment, that's a key feature that's very important. Again, look, rocking it forward, you can see how deep the model is, and as I spin it around, you can see Epson and other things along those lines. Spinning around this side, this is where sort of a bit more fun happens. You've got a sequence of lights. You've got a status light, a lamp warning, and a temperature warning light. These can flicker and blink in certain codes for identification of errors. Like previous models, there is a side door that is sprung loaded. That's kind of cool. Enabling the less used features like lens and other things to be operated from a touch button. There's power and source input. These are the things that you would use day to day with that closed. But the lens is now operated via motors, and so you can move optically left to right and up and down, as well as zoom and focus. This is emulated in the remote control as well. Spinning it around, you'll see that unlike some of the lesser projector models like the 7100, there's no speakers. This thing is a home theatre projector, is expecting you to put it in an environment with speakers, and good ones at that. We've got at the rear some implications of 4K and HDR, and it says deep black and 3D, and of course automation symbols like Control 4. Most importantly though, it's got relevant HDMI standards on board, and there's a model number and a thing there for 3 chip LCD. At the rear, and please hang around for some of the close-up photographs I'll show you, we've got the inputs and outputs that you would expect. You've got USB at the rear to provide power. You've got 2 HDMIs and a USB for rear basic media playback. There's servicing, there's a LAN for control, there's a PC input which is VGA, and there's RS-232 for the purposes of two-way communication and control. There's also a trigger out, and that's a 12-volt trigger, best utilised to drop screens or project lifts or whatever else there might be. In the middle at the top, we've got an emulation of the infrared sensor. So should this be forward of the using environment, you can use that as a sensor, obviously emulates the one at the front. Or should it be in an automated environment, the rear is a nicer place to perhaps add an emitter to its sensor. There's an IEC power cord in the middle there, and just turning it over, we'll see that it has multitudes of mounting points for a variety of different brackets. Spinning it around, we see the basic cover that you would expect and associated with the lamp, which is user replaceable. Remember, of course, go in the settings and tell it that you've replaced the lamp. It's covered with a screw, and there's a couple of others internally to stop this thing from moving and chattering. There's a few warnings and other things like that. That brings us back to the front. Now this projector, as I said, is 100% of the DCI something index. It's got a 10-bit processor on board for HDR. That's obviously associated with 4K, and it's a huge improvement in picture quality over its predecessor. It also has analog to digital conversions and other things like that are second to none in its price, so it's wonderful to see. But one of the key features of this product is its lens and its optics. The ability to pretty much place this anywhere in a room and get any image size that you need. You can sit this relatively close and get a very, very big image, or miles away in a long throw projector application and end up with a relatively small one should you choose. So you can place this perhaps well behind you in an environment, or where you have to because of existing cabling or something like that, and get a massive improvement over some legacy or older projector you may have owned. So there we have it, the Epson TW8400 4K 3-chip LCD projector, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.